Good evening, everybody. I am sorry it took me longer to update this than I thought it would. When I zonked out to take a little snooze this afternoon, it took me a while to wake up. So grab a coffee or a tea or a bevy of some sort. Got my tea here, and let's get down to story time with Shakespeare. We are going to start at the threat with the guy. We're going to start with the threat with the guy. And we're going to start right here. So let's see if my phone will cooperate. It was getting glitchy when I tried to record it earlier. That's when I gave up and took a nap. So apologies for that. Let's see if this works. I hit play. I really did. I hit play. So bad.
Cankered with peace, to part your cankered hate. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time all the rest depart away. You, Capulet, shall go along with me, and Montague, come you this afternoon to know our farther pleasure in this case to old Freetown, our common judgment place. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
I like the horse sounds. Music is really something.
Who set this ancient quarrel new abroach? Speak, nephew, were you by when it began?
Here were the servants of your adversary and yours close fighting ere I did approach. I drew to part them. In the instant came the fiery Tybalt with his sword prepared, which, as he breathed defiance to my ears, he swung about his head and cut the winds, who, nothing hurt withal, hissed him in scorn. While we were interchanging thrusts and blows, came more and fought on part and part, till the prince came, who parted either part.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today? Right glad I am he was not at this fray.
Madam, an hour before the worshipped sun peered forth the golden window of the east, a troubled mind drave me to walk abroad,
We went for a walk.
underneath the grove of sycamore that westward rooteth from this city side, so early walking did I see your son. Towards him I made, but he was ware of me and stole into the covert of the wood. I, measuring his affections by my own, which then most sought where most might not be found, being one too many by my weary self, pursued my humour, not pursuing his, and gladly shunned who gladly fled from me.
Many a more.
So he saw Romeo in the woods, but Romeo was in a mood and decided not to talk to him. But this is in the woods outside of Verona, and they're both kind of moody.
A morning hath he there been seen, with tears augmenting the fresh morning's dew, adding to clouds more clouds with his deep sighs. But also soon as the all-cheering sun should in the farthest east begin to draw the shady curtains from Aurora's bed, away from light steals home my heavy son, and private in his chamber pens himself, shuts up his windows, locks fair daylight out, and makes himself an artificial night. Black and portentous must this humour prove, unless good counsel may the cause remove.
Oh, my noble uncle, do you know the cause?
I neither know it nor can learn of him.
Have you importuned him by any means?
Both by myself and many other friends, but he, his own affection's counsellor, is to himself, I will not say how true, but to himself so secret and so close, so far from sounding and discovery, as is the bud bit with an envious worm ere he can spread his sweet leaves to the air or dedicate his beauty to the sun. Could we but learn from whence his sorrows grow,
So it sounds to me like our Romeo is depressed. If he goes home and makes for himself a fake night during the day, sounds like he's closing the curtains, sleeping during the day. He's up all night. He's walking in the woods. He doesn't want to see people. Sounds like a case of depression to me. And so they want to know, his parents are caring, they want to know what's wrong with Romeo, and yet he won't tell them. And this is going to prove depressing later on. So, if you can, be honest with your parents. Be open, be honest. You got to talk about stuff, even now. Okay, so here's Romeo. Let's see how our little lovebird is doing. Ugh, I hit the wrong button. Everything's fine. Using 2 forms of technology could be a mistake for me.
We would as willingly give cure as no.
See where he comes. So please you step aside. I'll know his grievance or be much denied.
I'll find out
Thou
what's wrong.
wert so happy by thy stay to hear true shrift.
Confession.
Come, madam, let's
I want to
away.
hear him confess what's wrong.
Good morrow, cousin.
That means good
so
day.
young.
But you struck 9.
Aye,
It's 9 a.m.
sad hours seem long.
Oh.
Was that my father that went hence so fast?
It was. But what sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love.
Out
Of love.
out of her favour where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh,
He sees blood.
me, what fray was here?
There was a fight?
Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. It is much to do with hate, but more with love. Why, then, oh, brawling love, oh, loving hate, oh, anything of nothing first create, oh, heavy lightness, serious vanity, misshapen chaos of well-seeming forms, feather of lead, bright smoke, cold fire, sick health, still waking, sleep that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this.
What?
Dost thou not laugh?
All right, so Benvolio at this point is like, dude, what the heck are you talking about? When he says, oh, fighting, brawling, and then love, well, those are opposites. Why are you putting those together? And then, oh, loving, and then hate, well, those are opposites. Why are you putting those together? And every time they put opposites together like this, they're called oxymorons. And it's supposed to express this internal conflict because he is so conflicted and he doesn't know what to do with his strong feelings. And so he's kind of talking crazy, and Benvolio's like, dude, what are you talking about? So that's why he's laughing. He's not laughing at him, but he's just like, what? And so Romeo's like, are you laughing at me?
No, cause I rather weep.
Good-hearted what?
And now he's all concerned.
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why,
Oh.
such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Love is a smoke raised with the fume of sighs, being purged of fire, sparkling in lovers' eyes, being vexed to see nourished with lovers' tears. What is it else? A madness most discreet, a choking gall, and a preserving sweet. Farewell, my cousin.
Soft,
Hey.
I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
Don't
I
leave
have
me.
lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He's some other where.
Tell me in sadness, who is that you love?
What shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan? Why, no, but sadly, tell me who.
It's a little
Did a sick man
dramatic.
in sadness make his will? Oh, word ill-urged to one that is so ill. In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I
Oh,
aim so near when I supposed you loved.
A right good markman, and she's fair, I love.
A right fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit.
Well, in that hit you miss, she'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit, and in strong proof of chastity well armed. From love's weak childish bow she lives unharmed. She will not stay the siege of loving terms, nor bide the encounter of assailing eyes, nor ope her lap to saints seducing gold. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies, with beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste.
She hath, and in that sparing makes huge waste for beauty's.
All right, so why is Romeo sad? Love forlorn. He loves a girl who doesn't love him back, right? So it seems rather offensive to me because this girl is saying, I would rather die a virgin than be with you. And Romeo thinks this is really, really sad. And here's why he says it's so sad. Why is this such a waste? Okay.
She starved with her severity, cuts beauty off from all posterity. She is too fair, too wise, wisely too fair, to merit bliss by making me despair. She hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
By giving...
So Romeo's sad because future generations, that there's no posterity here. None of her babies will be as beautiful as she is. Yeah, he's sad because she won't have babies. Sad for the world that there won't be any babies like her. I think he's sad for a different reason.
Giving liberty unto thine eyes, examine other beauties.
'Tis the way to call hers exquisite, in question more. These happy masks that kiss fair ladies' brows, being black, puts us in mind they hide the fair. He that is struck and blind cannot forget the precious treasure of his eyesight lost.
Forget.
Show me a mistress that is passing fair. What doth her beauty serve but as a note where I may read who passed that passing fair? Oh, farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt.
What do you think of Benvolio's advice here to Romeo? If you are brokenhearted over one person, is the best way to get over it to examine other beauties? Good advice or no? Think about it. Okay, so now we get to go to scene 2, and the men are going to talk marriage. By the way, the girl that Romeo loves is not Juliet. All right, here are the men.
But Montague is bound, as well as I, in penalty alike. And 'tis not hard, I think, for men so old as we to keep the peace.
Shouldn't be that
Honourable
bad.
reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you lived at odds so long. But now, my lord, what say you to my suit?
But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years.
She's 13.
Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride.
Younger than she, our happy mothers may.
And too soon marred are those so early made.
Marred means ruined. Do you think that really young moms, are their lives ruined by this? What's really funny, in the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet, he looks across through this window across the courtyard and in through another window, and then he can see his own wife, and she's like this crabby lady, and that's when he says young mothers ruined for life, but he's like talking about his own wife. It's pretty good directing, I think.
Earth has swallowed all my hopes, but she's the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part, and she agree. Within her scope of choice lies my consent and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I've invited many a guest, such as I love, and you, among the store, one more most welcome, makes my number more. At my poor house look to behold this night, earth treading stars that make dark heaven light. Such comfort as do lusty young men feel when well-apparelled April on the heel of limping winter treads. Even such delight among fresh fennel buds shall you this night inherit at my house. Hear all see, and like her most, whose merit most shall be, which on more view of many, mine being one, may stand in number, though in reckoning none. Go with me.
It's weird advice to a possible future son-in-law. Check out all the ladies, and if you think that Juliet's the best and you want to try to win her heart, go for it. See what she says. So does an Elizabethan dad have to think this way? See what Juliet says about it? He's being a pretty awesome dad right now, I would say. Okay, so Peter, the whole play hinges on Peter. Here we go.
Go, see that, trudge about through fair Verona, find those persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
Go invite them. So now Peter's got the list of invites.
Find them out whose names are written here. It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, and the tailor with his lass, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his net. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find what names the writing person hath here writ. Oh, I must to the learned. Oh, in good time.
All right, so he says that this person who's supposed to do a job, a shoemaker, is messing and working with a yard. Do shoemakers work with fabric? I don't know what last means. Oh, I see. Like tools, maybe? I don't know. Does a fisherman use a pencil? And do painters use nets? But here I am with this list that I'm supposed to read. So what is his problem? He is a servant in the Elizabethan era and he can't read. And now he's supposed to go invite all these people to the party. How embarrassing for him that the party is tonight and now he's supposed to go find all these people. Poor kid. Okay. Do we judge him because he can't read? No, he's a servant in the Elizabethan era. He wouldn't have been taught to read. And so now he sees educated men and he can tell because of what they're wearing, because the poor had to dress differently than the rich. And so he knows that these boys coming are educated.
Tut, man. One fire burns out another's burning. One pain is lessened by another's anguish. Turn giddy and be halt by backward turning. One desperate grief cures with another's languish. Take thou some new infection to thy eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Your plantain leaf is
excellent for that. For what, I pray thee? For your broken shin.
Kick him.
Why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is.
Going
Shut up
crazy.
in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented. Go then, good fellow.
Go, Gigadan. Oh, I pray, sir, can you read?
I, mine own fortune in my misery.
Jokester.
Perhaps you've learned it without book, but I pray, can you read anything you see?
Aye, if I know the letters and the language.
Oh, you say honestly. Rest you, Mary.
Say, fellow, I can read. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselmo and his beauteous sisters, the lady widow of Vitruvio, Signor Placentio and his lovely nieces, Mercutio and his brother Valentine,
Mercutio, that's his buddy.
Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline, and Livia, Signor Valentio and his cousin Tybalt Lucio and the lively Helena. A fair assembly. Whither should they come?
Where?
Up.
Whither?
Where?
To supper.
To our house.
Whose house?
My master's.
Indeed, I should have asked you that before.
Now I'll tell you without asking. My master is the great rich Capulet, and if you be not of the house of Montagues, I pray come across a cup of wine. Rest you, Mary.
At this same ancient feast of Capulet sups the fair Rosaline whom thou so loves with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I will make thee think thy swan a crow.
When the devout religion of mine eye maintains such falsehood, then turn tears to fires, and these who often drown could never die, transparent heretics, be burnt for liars. One fairer than my love, the all-seeing sun ne'er saw her match since first the world began.
Tut, you saw her fair, none else being by, herself poised with herself in either eye. But in that crystal scales let there be weighed your lady's love against some other maid that I will show you shining at this feast, and she shall scant show well that now seems best.
I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own.
So again, he's going to see Rosaline. So now the ladies are going to talk.
Yes, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me.
And now, by my maidenhead,
Swear by my
I'd
virginity.
better come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What Juliet?
How now, of course.
Your mother.
Madam, I am here. What is your will? This is the matter.
Curtsy.
Nurse, give us leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me thou's here, our counsel.
Fine.
Thou knowest my daughter's of a pretty age.
Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour.
She's not 14.
I lay 14 at my teeth, and yet to my teen it be spoken I have before. She's not 14. How long is it now to Lammastide?
A fortnight and odd days.
No,
2
even
weeks.
nor odd. Of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age.
Who's Susan?
Well, Susan's with God.
Oh.
She was too good for me, but as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she marry. I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it, and all the days of the year upon that day. For I then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall. My lord and you were then a mantua. Nay, I do bear a brain. But as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug and felt it bitter, pretty fool, to see it touch you and fall out with a dug. Shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need I trow to bid me trudge, and since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand high alone. Nay, by the road, she
Oh my gosh, this lady won't stop talking. And she remembers that her own daughter, Susan, who died right when Juliet was born. And there's something, man, it's so much easier to talk about this in class. Did you know, sad fact for the world, that breastfeeding is a huge challenge for tons of women? And since Juliet's mom was so young, it clearly seems like she had a difficult time. And so Juliet would have died if they hadn't found someone else who could help feed Juliet. They didn't have formula like we do now. And so the nurse steps in to nurse Juliet. And now she's talking about when she weaned her and when she was old enough to eat by herself and she didn't need breast milk anymore. And so before, in scene 1, Shakespeare refers to a lot of male body parts, and now he just can't help it. He's writing it in again, and now he wants to talk about boobs. So anyway, this lady is kind of crazy, but now she remembers a really funny joke that her husband said over and over and over and over again, and they just thought it was hilarious. So here's the joke.
She could have run and waddled all about. For even
She's
the
a
day before
toddler.
she broke her brow. And then my husband, oh God,
She fell down.
soul, was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou art small weight, wilt thou not, Jewel?
Because what do women do on their
The
backs?
pretty wretch left crying and said, aye.
And then the baby was like,
Now,
yeah.
how a jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel, quoth he, and pretty fool it stood and said, aye.
I means yes.
Enough of this. I pray thee halt thy peace.
Yes, madam.
Shut up. I didn't say shut up.
I can't just laugh to think it should leave crying and say, and yet I warrant it had upon it brow a bump as big as a young
she's got a
cockerel
bump on her
stone, a perilous
head.
knock, and he cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fall'st upon thy face, thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? I stinted and said,
And stint thou too, I pray thee now, say aye.
oh, peace I have done. Oh, God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Marry. That, Mary, is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? It is an honour that I dream not of.
An honour?
Hadn't thought about it.
I, thine only nurse, I would say thou'd sucked wisdom from thy teat.
Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you, here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years that you are now a maid.
A virgin.
Thus then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
A man, young lady, such a man as all the world. Why, he's a man of works.
Verona's summer hath not such a
Sculpted
flower.
to
Nay, he's a flower,
perfection.
if ain't the very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris' face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament,
every
and see how
line
one another lends content.
of his
And what
body.
obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margent of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride for fair without, the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory that in gold clasps locks in the golden story.
So what is the golden clasp that locks in a love story? Right? So she's like, read him like a book and judge for yourself. Do you want to marry this boy? He is perfect, and the only thing that would make him even more perfect is like a trophy wife. So you'd be perfect to be that cover of the book. That's what she was talking about right there.
So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him, making yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
Speak briefly. Can you like of Paris love?
I look to like, if looking like he move, but no more deep will I dark mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly.
Madam, the guests are come. Supper served up. You called. My young lady asked for. The nurse cursed in the pantry and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight.
We follow thee. Juliet, the county stays.
He waits.
Go, girl, seek happy nights to happy days.
And the party will be tomorrow. So I'll see you at 11 a.m. to discuss what we just read. And that's for English 1. Accelerated if you're watching this. I'll see you at 1. Okay, bye-bye. I don't know how to stop it.